The day Nixon disappeared, the sea was calm, almost magical. He was steering his boat, the Wanderer, across a vast expanse of shimmering blue. The sky above was a perfect, cloudless canvas. He felt a deep sense of freedom, a connection to the raw power of nature. This trip was more than just a getaway. It was a journey to find himself, to escape the noise of the modern world. He was ready for adventure, a solo voyage into the unknown. He checked his compass, adjusted the sails, and a confident smile spread across his face. Little did he know, destiny had other plans for him. Plans that would test his spirit in ways he could never have imagined. The sea, in its serene beauty, held a secret, a storm that was gathering its strength just beyond the horizon, waiting to unleash its fury. The first sign of trouble was a subtle shift in the wind. The air grew heavy, and the brilliant blue sky began to darken at the edges. Within minutes, the calm sea turned into a chaotic mess of churning waves. Dark, menacing clouds rolled in, swallowing the sun and casting a gloomy shadow over the water. A deafening clap of thunder echoed across the ocean, a declaration of war from the heavens. The storm struck with unimaginable fury. Rain lashed down, blinding him, and monstrous waves crashed over the deck, threatening to tear the Wanderer apart. Nixon fought with every ounce of his strength, his hands raw from gripping the helm, his muscles screaming in protest. But the ocean was a relentless beast. A colossal wave, a liquid mountain, rose before him, and in one terrifying moment, it came crashing down, and the sea swallowed him whole. He woke up with sand in his mouth and the sun beating down on his face. Disoriented, he pushed himself up, his body aching from head to toe. He looked around, his heart sinking with every turn of his head. He was on a beach, a crescent of white sand, bordered by a dense, unfamiliar jungle. The wreckage of his beloved boat was scattered along the shoreline, broken pieces of wood bobbing sadly in the gentle surf. He shouted, his voice hoarse. But only the cry of a strange bird answered him. He was alone, a castaway on a mysterious, deserted island. Panic began to creep in, a cold dread that threatened to paralyze him. He was stranded, cut off from everything and everyone he knew. The beautiful, treacherous sea that had brought him here now stood as an impassable barrier, a constant reminder of his isolation. As the initial shock wore off, a different feeling began to take root. Instead of giving in to fear, he realized that despair was a luxury he couldn't afford. Survival became his mission. His first priority was shelter. He scavenged wood from the shipwreck and dragged it into the jungle, working tirelessly to construct a crude lean-to against a rock face. Next came water. He followed the sounds of the jungle and, after hours of searching, found a small stream of fresh, clear water. Hunger gnawed at him, so he taught himself to identify edible plants and knock coconuts from the towering palms. He spent hours trying to make fire, his knuckles bleeding as he struck two stones together. Finally, a spark caught, and a small flame flickered to life. It was more than just warmth. It was a symbol of hope, a victory against the wilderness. Days blurred into weeks. Nixon's life fell into a new rhythm, one dictated by the sun and the tides. He became a skilled fisherman, crafting a spear from a sharpened branch and patiently hunting in the shallow reefs. He learned to cook his catch over the open fire, the taste of grilled fish becoming a familiar comfort. His appearance began to change. A thick beard covered his face, and his skin was tanned and weathered by the sun. He was no longer the man who had set sail from the harbor weeks ago. He was tougher, more resilient. He had moments of profound loneliness, where he would stare out at the endless ocean, his heart aching for home. But he never gave up. He kept his mind busy, constantly improving his shelter, exploring the island, and keeping his signal fire ready. Always hoping, always fighting. One afternoon, as he was collecting firewood, he heard a faint, rhythmic chopping sound in the distance. He froze, listening intently. It grew louder, a mechanical thrumming that was completely alien to the natural sounds of the island. He looked up, his eyes scanning the sky frantically, and then he saw it. A tiny speck, growing larger and larger. Hope arrived from the sky in the form of a helicopter. A surge of adrenaline coursed through him. He scrambled to his signal fire, which he had meticulously maintained every single day. He threw on the green leaves he kept nearby, and a thick column of white smoke billowed upwards, a desperate plea for help. He waved his arms wildly, shouting at the top of his lungs, praying they would see him. The helicopter seemed to hesitate, circling once, then twice. It was a moment of agonizing suspense. The helicopter banked and began its descent. Nixon watched, his heart pounding in his chest, tears of relief streaming down his face. His signal smoke saved his life. A rope ladder was lowered, and two figures rappelled down onto the beach. They approached him cautiously, their faces a mixture of astonishment and concern. He was finally, truly, being rescued. The climb up the ladder was a blur. His muscles, weakened by weeks of limited nutrition, protested with every rung. But the thought of home, of safety, of human connection, propelled him upward. As he was pulled into the cabin, he collapsed, utterly spent. The roar of the rotors was the most beautiful sound he had ever heard. Looking down, he saw his island, his temporary home and prison, shrinking below him. Nixon was finally safe. Returning to civilization was a shock. The noise, the lights, the crowds of people it was all overwhelming. He was a man out of time, a ghost from another world. The doctors said he was lucky, that his physical recovery would be quick. But the real changes were deeper, invisible to the eye. He survived the island, but the island had changed him forever. He looked at the world with new eyes, with a profound appreciation for the simple things he had once taken for granted: a warm bed, a conversation with a friend, a meal he didn't have to catch himself. His adventure had been one of survival, but it had also been one of discovery. He had faced the worst of nature and the depths of his own despair, and he had emerged stronger. He carried the island with him, not as a nightmare, but as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit.